Hello everyone. Today I thought we would cover how to access your localhost server from like a myriad of other devices. So this could be another tablet, a laptop, another PC, maybe it's running on Mac, or a mobile device. All of these will work just the same because you're basically going to take your local host and you're just going to expose it to a public server running through a free service. At least hopefully it stays free, unlike Heroku, but that's a story for another time. So this was inspired by someone who's been following along with my Linktree course at Coding Crazy on Twitter. Feel free to go follow them. And one of the things they mentioned was that the setup with Ngrok saved them a whole bunch of time, and they thought that alone was worth the money of the course, which to me says that I should probably cover it because I don't want people to think that they have to pay for a course for something like this. So we're just going to go ahead and cover it real quick. I have two downloads here. One is for Windows, one is for Linux, and I'll show you how to get these. I'll also be referencing the notes from the course itself. This is from the, premium lesson, if you want to call it that. Yeah, here's basically everything. So feel free to pause it and, steal it if you don't want to pay for the course. But we'll come back to this in a second. So we're going to come over to, Google, and we're just going to search for Ngrok, which is Ngrok. That'll take you to ngrok.com. You'll then have to sign up. It is free, but you do have to create an account. Then once you're here, you're going to come over to setup an installation. You're going to download it for Windows or Linux, whichever you prefer. They do have instructions for Linux if that's what you'd like, but they do include a key that I don't know if I'm supposed to share, so I'm not going to be showing that part of the screen, but there's only 3 steps. You download it, you unzip it, and then you run the command. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. So once we have it downloaded, you can either go through with a Linux setup command, or you can go through with Windows. It really doesn't matter. You're just downloading an executable either way, and it's just going to latch onto a port. So it doesn't really even need to be on Linux unless you're looking to test this on your production server for some reason. But in this case, I have Linux and Windows because I'm using WSL, so I'll cover both. So first things first, download the file, extract it, and then put it somewhere where you can find it. In this case, I have it here in my A drive, so ngrok.exe. So if we just type ngrok, let me actually clear my console. If we type ngrok and hit tab and then run this, it'll give us a whole bunch of stuff here. Now, one thing we do have to do is this config command. Now, I went ahead and I edited the code here. So basically all you have to do is run this command. You do have to make sure you're running your ngrok executable though. So make sure that you're running like ngrok exe and not just this ngrok command. So once we have this, we can then go ahead and run it. Okay, and then you can see right here it says auth token saved to wherever it needs to be saved. I'll hit Control L now, and now I should be good to go. Now, if you're on Linux, it's going to be a similar set of commands, but instead of doing the Windows unzip, you have to do the Linux unzip. So it's going to be very similar. I'll actually go ahead and I'll do it right now. I'll just grab the file and I'll move this into my A drive just so it's easier to get to in my Linux distro. And then we can just go ahead and open this up. So I'll pop over to my Linux server real quick, and then I'll actually hit Control-Shift-T to open a new tab. And then I'll just cd into my mount, so /mnt/a. Once I'm in here, I can type LL and I should see my ngrok for Linux. Okay, and then once we're here, it tells you to run the unzip command, but I don't think we want to run that. So instead what we want to do is just run a tar, and then I think the command is zxvf. Don't ask me why. I don't know what to tell you. But we can run this on our ngrok, and then it should, if I hit tab, grab the ngrok v3 stable Linux. So now if I just type /ngrok, this will also work. So at this point, you can follow along with the commands on whichever one you would like. You just have to set up your token on your Linux. I'm going to run it off of my PowerShell because I already have it configured. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start our Rails server. So we'll type Rails S, and then we want to pass in a -B because we want to bind this to a specific port or to a specific IP. And we just want to set this to be 0.0.0.0. because that will let Ngrok work off of it. Once we have that, we can then come over here. We can try to go localhost port 3000, and you should see that it works just fine. So now that we have that, we're going to come over to wherever our ngrok is, and all we want to do is type ./ngrok.exe, and then we just want to run this for, I think, HTTP, and then port 3000. And then we have a HTTP one that we can check right here, and we have a HTTPS server we can check. So I'm just going to grab this, control click on it. It should open it up in some browser somewhere. But unfortunately, it doesn't grab the full thing. So let me just control click the full thing and it'll give us this warning. So we're going to click on details because we're in Chrome, and then it's going to say blah, 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 nobody cares. And then the very last link is visit this unsafe site because Chrome doesn't want you to be able to do anything, it seems. Then you can click visit site, and now it's going to give us this error where it tells us that we have to add this Ngrok URL to our config.hosts. And the issue with this is going to be randomly generated every time we run our Ngrok application. So ideally what we want to do is we just want to allow list the Ngrok like pattern here in our hosts so that whenever we spin up a new Ngrok server, it'll just work. Of course, we're only doing this for development. We don't want to do this for production. Otherwise, we're going to have a bad time. But there was a regular expression that I set up when I went to make this work. So let me move this over. I'm just going to minimize Chrome real quick. I'll hit F11. So if I come back over to the Linktree course and I scroll down here, I think I'm going to move this over to the side. We have the regular expression right here. So all we have to do is come into our Explorer. I'm going to come into our environments and development.rb, and then we just want to say config.hosts, and then we want to push in this regular expression, which is just going to be 2 slashes. Let me hit plus one more time to bump up the font size. So all we're going to do here is we're just going to follow what this image says. So it is it's going to be square brackets, which means we're taking whatever characters are in here. So it can either be a letter between A and Z, or it can be a number between 0 and 9. We then pass in a dash, we do a plus, and then we do a slash. The reason why we have this last dash is because it can also just quite literally be this dash. Because if we look at if we were to look at our Ngrok, we would see that it was like 4 letters or characters and then a dash. So after the plus here, we do the slash dot ngrok, because the slash just tells us that we're literally allowing the period character. And then we have to do another slash dot io, and this gives us our completed regular expression. If we look at our image here, hopefully it'll let me zoom in a bit. The reason why we do this is because we are repeatedly going through this loop where we pick either a character or a number, or we pick a dash every 4th character. And then the last bit is just the string literal.ngrok.io. Once we have this, we need to come over and restart, I think, both of our servers. So I'm going to stop Ngrok, I'm going to stop Rails, I'm going to run Rails S again, bind it to 0.0.0, and I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to run ngrok.exe, HTTP, and port 3000. Now at this point, if I come over to Chrome again and I refresh, this will throw an error because we've changed our URL. So this is what I meant. Like every time you go to change it, or you go to stop the server, start it, you're going to have to go to a different URL. So that can be kind of a pain. I'm going to hit Control click on this to open this up. Click on details, click on visit this unsafe site, click on visit site. And now we're getting requests in the background where you can see all of our stuff getting loaded and we're on our page. So at this point, we can just go with dean@example.com and a password of password, and we're good to go. But what does this actually look like on a mobile device? Because we're kind of here to cover mobile, so we should probably take a look at it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I sent it to myself on Discord. I'll click yep, and then we can try to open this. So you can see here we have the same page, but because I'm using Brave here, it's only telling me I need to click visit site. So I'll click on visit site, and in the background, we can see all of our stuff loading. And now we have this exact same application working on a mobile device. If I type in my info here and a password of password, we should even be able to log in just fine. And we can see that we're inside of our application. We're just running all of this on a mobile device. So really good way to sort of test the responsiveness. I'm getting the bullet errors here that are telling me we have an N+1 query. I can click on show post. I can see what the post formatting's like. I can go back, get yelled at again for the N+1 query. Here's the emoji picker episode where we have our emojis, and everything works how you would expect. And we can already see that, like on mobile here, our comment section goes off the screen a bit, so it's not fully responsive. So this is one of the reasons why I really like to test like this. But okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to cover how to set up something like Ngrok because I thought it'd be helpful, and hopefully it was helpful. So hopefully this lets you test your application on mobile devices. Hopefully you got something out of this, and hopefully now you don't feel the need to go pay for a course that has content for free online. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.